2 nights before our wedding, her bridesmaid confessed she's still in love with someone else. I didn't make a scene. I just called the venue, then called my best man. The next day, only 2 people showed up, me and the DJ. 2 nights before my wedding, one of her bridesmaids whispered to me across a crowded room, she's still in love with someone else. My name is Jason. I'm 31, work in logistics, and I'm the type of guy who doesn't make a lot of noise. I don't yell. I don't post dramatic quotes. I don't smash glasses when I'm angry. But that sentence, that quiet little sentence, it hit harder than anything I've heard in my life. And it didn't come from just anyone. It came from Kelly, her best friend since middle school. The same girl who once told me I was the best thing that ever happened to Claire. The same girl who helped plan the proposal. That night, at our rehearsal dinner, while everyone was clinking champagne and pretending nothing was wrong, Kelly looked like she'd seen a ghost. She pulled me aside when Claire went to the restroom and said, low and fast, like she'd been holding it in for weeks, "You need to know, she's been texting him. The guy from before you." The one she said was just a chapter. "I've seen it." She never stopped. "I'm sorry. I can't let you walk into this blind." I laughed at first. Like, an actual awkward laugh. Because there was no way Claire would sabotage this. We'd been together 5 years. We survived a long-distance stretch when she went back to school. I helped pay her rent for 2 years while she launched her design business. I was with her when her mom passed. I even sold my car, so we could afford the venue she wanted, some ridiculous vineyard 3 hours away from anything. She called it her fairy tale spot. And now I was supposed to believe that 2 days before walking down the aisle, she was still tangled up in someone else? I just looked at Kelly. I didn't yell. I didn't ask for proof. I didn't threaten anything. I simply nodded once and said, "Thank you." That was it. Inside, my entire body was humming with something I hadn't felt since I was a teenager. This deep, vibrating quiet. Like my brain had flipped a switch and said, "You're not safe. Lock it down." I went back into the room. Claire smiled at me from across the table, and I smiled back. We still cut the cake that night. We still danced in front of our families like nothing was wrong. But the second we got back to our hotel room, while Claire went into the bathroom to get ready for bed, I picked up her phone from the nightstand. She didn't have it password protected. She always said she had nothing to hide. It took 2 minutes to find what I was looking for. The thread was under a contact named Aiden, work. The same Aiden I'd heard her talk about years ago. Her ex-fiancé. The one she claimed cheated on her and left her broken. The one I helped her heal from. The guy she swore she'd blocked and moved on from. Turns out, she hadn't blocked him. Not even close. They had been talking for months. Not just texting, full conversations. Voice notes. Memes. Photos. Some innocent, some not. But the worst were the messages about me. "I don't know what I'm doing. Jason's good, but he's not you. I wish I had waited. I still dream about your stupid old apartment. Sometimes I wonder if I'm marrying him just because it's the safe choice." And then there was one from 2 nights before our engagement party, when I was stressing over ring sizes and vendors. She texted Aiden. "He's planning something. I think he's going to propose. Don't freak out. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just trying to move forward." I didn't even know how long I stared at the screen. All I know is that when Claire came out of the bathroom, she saw me lying in bed with my eyes closed. She kissed my forehead. I kept breathing evenly, like I was already asleep. But my mind, it was racing. My chest was a tight knot of ice and fire. I had no idea what I was going to do next. Only that I wasn't going to walk down that aisle. Not like this. The next morning, while she was out getting coffee with her sister, I made 2 calls. One to the venue. The other to my best man, Drew. The venue canceled easily. I only lost part of the deposit. Drew, on the other hand, he answered on the first ring and said, "You okay, man?" I said, "I need you to do something a little crazy with me." He didn't even ask what it was. He just said, "Tell me where to be." Drew met me that afternoon in the hotel parking lot with 2 iced coffees and 0 questions. We sat in his truck for an hour, windows down, watching Claire and her friends bustle in and out of the rehearsal suite. I told him everything. Kelly's warning. The messages. The look on Claire's face as she kissed me goodnight without a clue. He didn't even blink. He just said, "So what's the move?" I laid it out for him. We wouldn't cancel the wedding. Not publicly. Not yet. Instead, we'd keep everything going exactly as Claire expected, except when it came to the guest list. Because if I'd learned anything in the last 24 hours, it was this. Nothing cuts deeper than silence. Than being left standing in a moment you thought you controlled, alone. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to throw the ring. I wasn't going to give her the kind of drama she could spin into a sob story later. No, I was going to let her feel the void she'd created. So I called the venue again and told them to keep everything on schedule, decorations, lighting, ceremony music. But cancel catering, security, valet, bartenders. Just the DJ stays. Then I reached out to every guest I'd invited personally, friends, work buddies, college roommates. I told them the wedding was off. No big dramatic explanation, just, we've decided to postpone. Sorry for the short notice. Thanks for understanding. A few pressed for details. I didn't give any. Drew handled the rest. He texted his groomsmen and said plans had changed. Told them to stand down. Meanwhile, I booked a second hotel room under Drew's name, so I could get some space and start putting together a refund spreadsheet. Claire, still blissfully unaware, was texting me about centerpiece colors. That night, I lay on the bed in the second room, staring at the ceiling. It was quiet. Not peaceful, not chaotic, just empty. The weirdest thing? I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt focused. The next morning, the supposed big day, Claire woke up early and rushed into hair and makeup. Her sisters were buzzing around her, giggling, snapping photos, popping champagne. The bridal suite was chaos. And through it all, she kept texting me little things. Don't be late, Mr. Almost Husband ring. I bet you're more nervous than me, haha. Make sure Drew has the rings. I replied, see you at the altar. And I meant it. Just not the way she expected. Drew picked me up an hour later. I put on my suit. Not the one we picked out for the ceremony. The black one I wore to my cousin's funeral last year. I wanted to wear something honest. Something that felt like mourning. We got to the venue early. Just us and the DJ. I tipped him extra and told him there'd been a change in the schedule. No announcements, no first dance, just background music. He shrugged and said, as long as the check clears, man. The ceremony room was already lit. Dozens of empty white chairs. Flower petals down the aisle. A blown-up photo of me and Claire at our engagement shoot, standing near the entrance. We looked happy. We looked like liars. The officiant never showed. Because I never confirmed them. Claire's family started arriving first. Confused. Whispering. Then her bridesmaids. Kelly among them. Eyes wide. Scanning the room. Realizing something was very wrong. Finally, Claire. She stepped into the hallway, dressed like a dream. White lace, veil over her curls, bouquet in hand. And she stopped cold when she saw the chairs. Empty. The DJ started playing the instrumental we'd picked together. A soft acoustic version of a song she said always made her cry. And she did cry. But not for the reason she thought. She turned to me, her mouth opening to speak, but I raised a hand. Didn't yell. Didn't accuse. Just walked past her, down the aisle, and stood at the altar alone. The music swelled. I stood there, breathing evenly, counting each beat like it mattered. And after 2 full minutes, I nodded to the DJ. He switched tracks. A different playlist now. Something upbeat. Familiar. And I started dancing. No audience. No photographer. Just me, spinning slowly on the stage that was supposed to be her dream. Claire stood frozen. Her sister pulled her away. Her mother was shouting something in the background. I just kept dancing. Then Drew stepped in and filmed it. That night, he posted the clip with a caption. When the groom finds out 2 days before the wedding she's still in love with someone else, and shows up anyway. It got 2 million views in 6 hours. The comments were brutal. Supportive. Curious. Wild. Theories started flying. People dug up our old engagement photos and tried to guess the timeline. Someone said it was staged. Someone else called me a legend. But I didn't care about any of it. Because the next day, Claire showed up at my hotel door. No dress. No veil. No bouquet. Just rage. And a face full of guilt. She was standing in the hallway of my hotel, hair a mess, makeup half wiped, still wearing the hotel slippers. The wedding dress was gone, replaced by sweatpants and someone else's hoodie. She looked wrecked. Are you proud of yourself? She snapped the second I opened the door. Not sorry. Not I messed up. Not even a question about the video. Just pure, vibrating fury. I didn't invite her in. Just leaned on the doorframe and waited. She pointed a shaking hand at me. You humiliated me. My family. You made me look like some kind of joke. You made me look like a husband, I said. Before I even got the chance to be one. That shut her up for a second. She crossed her arms and looked down the hallway like she was trying to find words. Something about her in that moment. The deflection, the immediate rage, made it so clear. She wasn't sorry I found out. She was sorry she didn't get to control how I found out. Eventually, she turned back to me and said it again. Slower this time. You humiliated me. I shrugged. You lied to me. She flinched. Just barely. But it was there. I didn't cheat. I let that sit in the air for a moment. She meant physically. She wanted that technicality to save her. But she knew what I knew. What I'd seen. What she'd sent to Aiden. The videos. The voice memos. The plans. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and showed her the screen. Her face went pale before I even opened the thread. You read that? I read everything. She sank into the wall, one hand pressed against the hallway wallpaper like it might hold her up. Jason, it wasn't what you think. Then tell me. I cut in. Tell me what you meant when you said, he's safe, but he's not you. Tell me what that means. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Because she'd been using me. Not cruelly, not maliciously, but as a lifeboat. Something to cling to while she waited to feel something again. I was trying to let him go, she whispered. I really was. But you weren't, I said. You were trying to love him through me. She covered her face and slid to the floor. And for the first time, I didn't feel sad for her. I felt clear. Like the fog had lifted and I was finally seeing her without the layers of wishful thinking I'd built around her. That's when Kelly texted me. If she's there, can I come by? There's more you should know. I glanced at Claire. Still on the floor. Still silent. Still wearing a hoodie that didn't belong to me. Sure, I texted back. 20 minutes later, Kelly showed up. She looked exhausted. Like someone who hadn't slept in days. Claire didn't even lift her head when Kelly walked in. The silence between them said everything. Kelly sat on the edge of the bed and looked at me. I lied to you. Not about the affair, about how long it's been going on. I blinked. It's been months. She nodded. Try a year and a half. Maybe longer. It started around the time you sold your car to pay for the venue deposit. I felt something hollow out in my chest. Not because I was surprised, but because I wasn't. Kelly looked at Claire. You told me it was a one-time thing. Then it was emotional. Then it was nothing. You kept saying it was nothing while you planned a wedding with someone who would have literally given you the world. Claire didn't respond. I looked at Kelly. Why tell me all this now? Her voice cracked. Because I watched you dance alone. And I realized she didn't just cheat on you. She robbed you of everything you gave her in good faith. And that's not love. That's not confusion. That's cruelty. It was quiet after that. So quiet I could hear the room above us dragging a chair across the floor. Claire stood slowly, like she'd aged a decade in an hour. I think I need to go. I stepped aside and let her pass. She stopped in the doorway. You really posted that video? I looked her in the eyes. No, my best man did. Because he gives a damn about me. She blinked. For a second, it looked like she might say something else. But instead, she turned and left. Kelly stayed for a while after that. She didn't say much. Just sat there while I stared at my phone screen and tried to feel something human again. Eventually, she stood, gave me a long look, and said, You didn't lose anything. You escaped. And I think that was the moment it finally hit me. I wasn't mourning the woman I lost. I was mourning the version of myself that still believed she loved me. The next few days passed in slow, uneven hours. I didn't sleep much. I wasn't eating. Not because I was depressed. I was just wired. Like my brain was moving too fast for my body to keep up. I kept thinking about the phrase Kelly used. You didn't lose anything. You escaped. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But something kept scratching at the back of my mind. A feeling I couldn't shake. Claire hadn't just emotionally checked out. She'd never checked in. So I started digging. Not in some crazy stalker way. Just putting pieces together. Looking back on our 5 years together with fresh eyes. Remembering things I hadn't thought twice about before. Like how she never wanted to visit her old neighborhood. Or how she flinched every time I played certain songs. Or the way she always changed the subject whenever I brought up our engagement story to friends. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Aiden never left her life. I logged into our shared Dropbox, the one we used to back up wedding planning stuff. She must have forgotten she synced her design portfolio there too. I found a file named Archive tucked inside a folder called Old Projects. Inside were dozens of photos, but not of logos or mock-ups. They were pictures of them. Her and Aiden. Vacations. Birthdays. Candid selfies. Screenshots of late-night texts. And the dates? They overlapped with the first 2 years of our relationship. The captions she'd saved made my stomach turn. Found this one from the cabin trip. I missed that weekend. The way he used to look at me. I'll never forget it. Sometimes I wonder if we just needed more time. Still feels like home. The last file was a voice memo. Short. 30 seconds. I hesitated before playing it. But I had to know. I put on headphones, hit play, and sat down. It was Claire's voice. Soft. Breathless. The kind of voice you use when you're confessing something to someone you're not supposed to be speaking to. I said yes to Jason today. I know I should be happy. He's good to me. He's kind. But all I could think about was you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I paused it. That was the night I proposed. She came home crying. Said they were happy tears. She said yes and held me like I'd just pulled her out of the ocean. But the whole time, her heart was somewhere else. That broke something in me. Not loudly. Not with rage. Quietly. Permanently. I backed up the folder and sent it to myself. Then I deleted it from Dropbox. 2 hours later, I posted a new update to the video that had gone viral. The one of me dancing alone at the altar. Just a caption, nothing more. She said yes to me. But her heart never left him. It exploded. People began asking questions. And then, something unexpected happened. One of Aiden's old friends messaged me privately. Said he recognized Claire from the video and had something to tell me. At first, I thought it was another pile-on. But then he sent screenshots. Claire and Aiden had planned to get married too. Back in college, she designed the invites, even picked out a venue. Then, 2 weeks before their wedding, he ghosted her. No explanation. No goodbye. He just disappeared. And apparently, she never got over it. She swore she was fine. She dated casually. Then she met me. I became the clean slate, the soft place to land. But deep down, she wasn't healing. She was rebuilding a fantasy. One where she got to wear the dress, walk down the aisle, and finally get the ending she was robbed of, even if it wasn't with the man she truly wanted. That's what I'd been to her all along. Not a partner. A placeholder. The final puzzle piece in a dream that never included me. I used to think closure came from a conversation. Turns out, it comes from receipts. The same people who cheered us on during our engagement, co-workers, mutual friends, even her clients, started reaching out after the video went viral. Some offered sympathy. Some just wanted gossip. But a few shared something more useful. Stories. Apparently, I wasn't the only one Claire had lied to. One of her former clients, a small business owner she'd done design work for, told me Claire once double-booked their rebrand while she was overwhelmed with wedding stress. Then billed them both for the same logo concept. Another person, a guy she briefly dated before me, said she ghosted him right after Aiden came back to town. And now it all made sense. She'd been toggling between lives. Whoever gave her the best version of herself at the moment, that's who she clung to, until it fell apart. And right now, her world was falling apart. I got a message from one of her bridesmaids, not Kelly, but someone who'd clearly picked a side. She said Claire had lost 3 design clients in the past week alone. Turns out, her behavior wasn't just trending, it was now bad for business. Too many people had seen the video. Too many had read the comments. Her reputation, once carefully curated, was now unraveling in real time. But I wasn't done. I opened the wedding gift spreadsheet, the one we'd made together to track who gave what. Then I sent a short message to everyone who had contributed to our registry or honeymoon fund. Hey, I wanted to thank you for your support over the past year. The wedding has been called off. I've refunded your gift in full. Instead, if you're feeling generous, I've included a link to a children's cancer research charity that means a lot to me. No theatrics, no drama, just truth and purpose. Within hours, the donations poured in. A few people wrote back. I was wondering what happened. Saw the video. You handled it with class. You deserve better. Glad you're moving on. Even her uncle donated, with a note that just said, I never liked her with him. Now I know why. Then came the final blow. Her ex, Aiden, the man she'd risked everything for, ghosted her again. Kelly told me. He saw the video, saw the comments, saw the way Claire's name was being dragged across Reddit, TikTok, and even Facebook groups for wedding horror stories. And just like before, he vanished. No goodbye, no explanation, just blocked. Claire tried to spin it. Said he was afraid of commitment. Said, men always run when things get real. But I knew better. She bet everything on a man who already broke her once. And now she was standing in the rubble. Again, except this time, she'd built it with my money, my time, my faith. But she wouldn't rebuild this time. Because she burned the last bridge that still believed she was worth saving. Claire didn't take the silence well. She started posting vague things on Instagram. You know the type. Sometimes the people closest to you are the most disappointing, or you never really know someone until they humiliate you publicly. At first, I ignored it. But then she crossed a line. She started telling people I weaponized a breakup for content, that I emotionally blackmailed her into saying yes, that the wedding video was edited to make her look like the villain. She told one of my co-workers' wives that I was the one who had been talking to someone else behind her back, that I faked the whole thing to go viral. That's when I stopped playing nice. I called my lawyer. No lawsuits. No drama. Just one simple ask. Help me write a cease and desist with evidence attached. We drafted the letter. Attached the screenshots. The Dropbox files. The client complaints. The audio recordings. The wedding vendor refunds. The donations in lieu of gifts. Everything was meticulously laid out, with timestamps, verification, and backup logs. Then we had it hand-delivered to her apartment. She opened it thinking it was a last-minute apology. Instead, it was a legal wall. And a message at the bottom. You're free to tell whatever story you want. I'm just making sure the truth is on record. Jason. The next day, her Instagram went dark. 3 days later, her business website redirected to a temporarily unavailable page. And exactly 1 week after that, she sent a final message. It was short. No punctuation. I hope you're happy. I stared at it for a while. Then typed back. I'm peaceful. That was the last time we ever spoke. No more texts. No more excuses. No public posts. Just silence. And the weirdest part? I didn't feel victorious. I felt clean. Like I had finally pulled the last shard of glass from the wound. Claire never apologized. Not sincerely, not directly, but I didn't need it anymore. She spent years rewriting the truth to make herself feel better. I spent 6 days quietly restoring it. Not for revenge, just to get my life back. And I finally had it. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.